friends drop in to craft with me tonight. So pop in, say hello. I'm just going to double check that I'm in the right place here on YouTube and that I can see it live. Give me one moment while I do that. That's always important. And just need to check that the sound is good. I haven't got my AirPods in, but I've had a couple of people tell me sometimes they can hear better when I don't wear them. So anyway, when you pop on, say hello, please. Oh, it's been a nice weekend. I have family here. My dad and my stepmom are here staying with us tonight. They're leaving in the morning, so I'm not going to stay here too long tonight. I may only do one project. We'll see how we go. Reason being that I'd like to go and hang out with them. So, hey Margaret, hi Elizabeth. Nice to see you ladies. Okay. We've just had dinner. I'm completely full. I spent the afternoon, I made a lasagna, which I don't make very often, but it's a good meal to have on hand when you have guests. And I made a sticky date pudding with butterscotch sauce, and that was very, very nice. But now I am full as anything. Hey Helen, nice to see you. Okay, let me get this turned around and we'll get going. Give me 1 second. Hey Judy, how you doing? I'm just going to turn this the correct way. And tighten it up. You're very tired. Oh, gee, I better make sure I'm very entertaining so that you don't go to sleep on me, Margaret. But if you do, that's what replays are for, right? You can always watch the replay you know, I'm sure that will be fine. So if you're tired, I completely understand. Totally get it. All right, so this catalogue here is actually retiring. We've only got a month left and it's all over Red Rover. And on Friday night when I did my Facebook Live, I had a few people request the Great Tidings bundle, which is on page 15 of this catalogue. It's this one here with the 3 wise men. It's called, the set is called Great Tidings. The stamps, the dies are called Wise Men Tidings, and then they're a bundle together. Now, normally I suggest that you get the bundle, but in our retiring list, both this set and the dies are going to be marked down at 50% off. So don't buy the bundle. Buy them separately and get 50% off each, okay? I really want to help you guys get the most value that you can from your Stampin' Up! Experience, and you can get a better value out of this set by waiting until the 1st of December when it will be marked down here in Australia, be marked down by 50%. Now, depending on where you are, it's marked down by different percentages. Things are marked down. Some things that are marked down here are not marked down, for example, in the US, and vice versa. I went through the catalogue with my friend Susan Campfield, who's over in the US, and we went through the whole thing the other day, and we compared what sets were in their list that were going to be marked down with what's in our list that are going to be marked down, and they were quite different. They were marked down by different amounts. Some things were, some things weren't. So I guess it just depends on how much you've got of things left over in your warehouse. And things that I noticed that quite a few of the things that are marked down are the wintry sets, like the polar bears and things that really are snowy kind of Christmassy kind of things. And I've gone through here and I made a little mark of all the things that we marked down in our catalogue. So you like to watch live? I know. It is nice to be live, and it's nice because then we can talk to each other instead of just you having to listen to me later, which I don't think that's as much fun, do you? All right. So I am going to do these tonight, these ones. And also this is the last couple of days of our amazing special, which is the joining special. If you have been thinking about this, you have until Tuesday, and then that's all over Red Rover as well. And the reason that that's so good, I think, is it's only $130. You get $235 worth of stuff. And then if you decide you're going to get things out of the catalogue, for example, if you wanted these that are 50% off, you would get your demonstrator discount on top of that, okay, which makes this an amazing deal. So definitely, if you've been thinking about joining, do it now. Do it in the next 2 days so that you can take advantages of all the specials that are in here at an even greater discount. So that's pretty cool. All right, so on page 15, like I said, all right, we've got these really cool things. There's some nice samples here. I think this is a set that lends itself to a lot of really fun backgrounds. And as you guys know, I love making fun backgrounds. I really liked this look where they've put the gold. So let's have a quick look. Let's have a look. Here's the stamp set. Here are the dies. It's nice to see them up close. Just that little star die is at the back there. Let me pull them out. This is what they look like. There's also a little star that goes in here. All right, I'm going to use the star probably, which is why I had it out. There's this cute little group of like little Bethlehem buildings, which is really sweet. Then there are the 3 wise men, which cut out the 3 wise men on here. You've got your gold, frankincense and myrrh, and there's a die to cut those out as well. And there's some other little bits and pieces, some nice sentiments. So this is kind of like a really great like nativity kind of a Christmas set, which I think works really well for that kind of things. But I really love this one. I think this is such a nice shape. This beautiful kind of has that Middle Eastern feel about it. And you can see I've cut it here out of the rose gold metallic glimmer. It's not glimmer, it's shimmer paper. It's a little bit different to our glimmer papers, which are more sandpapery. This is very soft. It feels very smooth, but it's got that real pretty look. This comes in a pack of rose gold and gold, and they're 6x6 sheets. So I have already, as you can see, I've already gone ahead and cut out that shape, and I think I'll use that tonight. We'll see. I just wanted to show you how pretty it is. Okay. Hey, Anita, how are you? I'm going to pop those back for now, and let's do a pretty background. Actually, I might do 2, and then we'll see which one I'll decide which one to use. I haven't. So I've got a couple of pieces of paper. I've actually got shimmery white paper. Shimmery white paper takes colour, especially if we're going to add water, which we might. Takes colour very well, but you can just use normal basic white. That will also work for you as well. So really, it doesn't matter. If you want, like here, you can see this background here. It looks to me, with the texture of that, they've used watercolour paper to get that effect. So that's different again, okay? So depending on what kind of paper you use, you may get different effects. I thought I'd do 1 landscape and maybe 1 portrait. If we're going to do portrait, then I can use this one. So that would fit over that quite nicely. But let's see. Oh, look, I'm tempted. Maybe I will just start with the portrait, and then we'll see how we go. So I'm going to do some blending, because I love my blending brushes. And I'm going to start with Blushing Bride, because that's quite close to this rose gold kind of colour. So let's grab those inks out. I like the Blushing Bride. That's a soft pink. And then I've got Misty Moonlight is my darkest. I might go to Night of Navy, but we'll see. And I'm deciding whether to go with a light purple, like Fresh Freesia, or whether I'll, no, maybe I will, maybe I'll go Highland Heather. That might be, yeah. I think this is a little bit more pinky. I think I want to go more purpley. So I think I'll use those 3. All right. So if I was to use this, and let's say I'm deciding whether I want to have a hill that my wise men are going to stand on, like this. I've already cut this earlier with the border dies, which has got that nice curve shape, or I can also do a straight piece like this. Now we do have, I've cut out the little, so I cut all these out ahead of time just to make it a little bit quicker for me tonight. Let's take that off. So if I line that up with the bottom, this here would go quite nicely. However, we are going to lose the little building on the right on the straight, which is fine. I think that would actually look still okay. If I put it on a curve, it works a little bit better, but even so, it's still, see, it's not quite the right shape. I would need to, for the buildings to sit straight, I'd still need to bring them down a little bit, but then you get to see all the buildings. But they look kind of cute, don't they? Aren't they nice? I'm actually going to stick this one on after. I have to remember it's over here. Must not forget. And I'm deciding, shall we have a hill, a curve, or will we have a straight? And see if this is, they both are going to look fine. What do you guys think, a curve or a straight line? You've got some of that, Judy. You mean this stuff? This here? I've used, you know what? I'm using the rose gold one at the moment because I've used up so many packs of the gold. And now I've got all the rose gold left over because I haven't used the rose gold as much. So I'm trying to use up that now because I have not played with it nearly as much. I really love the gold in it. The gold is beautiful. Hey there, Subu. Good morning to you. Oh, that's nice. Well, we've had a week of rain, and from last time I looked at the weather app, it looked like it was going to be another week of rain. Tonight, my daughter showed me a picture of a guy up in Gunnedah, which is kind of central west New South Wales, up further west of Tamworth. I actually used to live there for a while. She had a picture of a man catching a fish in his driveway because his driveway was flooded and there was a fish, a carp. I mean, it was a big fish, but it wasn't very nice to eat because carp are renowned for being very poor eating. But we're saying the hill. Everyone wants the hill. Okay. Oh, the white. Do you mean the shimmery white? You weren't sure what to do with. The shimmery white is probably my favorite white neutral. I don't use it as much because it's a little more expensive than, say, Whisper White. Whisper White is actually quite good value because there's 40 sheets in a pack. But shimmery white is fantastic because it takes water so well. It's a thicker cardstock. It's got quite a bit more body to it than your Whisper White, which is a lot thinner. So, but it's still a great stamping surface. So I do tend to use it, and it's also got that beautiful shimmer on it when you hold it in the light. So, hey there, Denise. How are you? Nice to see you here. Hey. All right, so we're going to go with the curve. That's the popular vote. All right, I'm actually going to be lining this up with the bottom when I glue it together. But to start with, I'm going to pull it up a little bit higher than the bottom. So you can see I'm probably about, not even half a centimetre, maybe about 4 millimetres up above. I'll go. Let's use my grid paper so I can make sure I'm getting it straight. If you don't have grid paper, grab yourself some. It is fantastic stuff. I'm going to pull it up by one of these squares. That way I know I've got it in the right spot. And I'm going to start with my Blushing Bride blending brush. You can see I'm using my ink, and I'm just going to pick up the ink straight from the pad. And with this, as I said, just make sure it's straight. I'm now going to start. You may have seen me do this before. It is one of my favorite techniques. And I'm going to start moving up. And I'll show you in a second why I moved the hill up a little bit. Now, really, I probably should start from the other end, but I didn't want to go down that far. But I'm adding more. I'm going to add more layers of colour. And we used to do this with our sponge brayers as well. So I'm only having one layer of colour down towards the bottom. So can you see that we've got like a little bit? If I line this back up with the bottom, we've now got a bit of a white light there. I'm just going to smooth over that, but I'm not going to completely get rid of it. Now I think that's probably enough of that colour actually. I'm looking here. Kind of you work it out as you go along. I've got a purple blending brush, which I use for purples. I'm lazy. I'm a lazy crafter, so I don't very often clean my brushes. I just use them for the same colour over and over again. All right, I'm going to start from the top. We don't need to worry about we're not going down this far. And I'm going to bring my Highland Heather down into the Blushing Bride. So it's kind of overlapping it a little bit. Don't worry if it's not completely even. It's not going to matter. It never matters if you're late, Marion. You can just show up anytime. In fact, if you don't make it at all, that's fine too. You just come when you come and watch the replay if you don't make it in time. That's what replays are for. All right, can we see this is kind of like the pink is blending into the purple there? And the more I go over the top here, the more the colour builds up. and I want a good build-up of colour. I'm just going to come back down here and go over with the pink. That helps to blend the two colours. Blending brushes are just the most wonderful things. I love, love, love them. I don't think I'll ever get sick of them. I hope we never get rid of them. But then again, I felt that way about the sponge sprayers as well. And I guess I'm learning to live with the loss of those. But these guys have helped me get over that loss. All right, so I'm going to start from the top. And I'm going to come down into the purple. So now we're starting to add more colour that is going to blend together. And we're kind of getting it looks like to me like a twilight sky. Like after the sun's gone down and you have a few pinks and purples still in the sky, but it's darker at the top. That's looking really pretty, isn't it? Looking nice. Right, can you see how that's really coming together now? Now, if I wanted to, I'm not going to worry about it for this, but if I was going to leave it, because I'm going to put this over the top, see how nice that is? I'm not going to worry about doing anything with the top. But if I was not using this piece over the top, I would probably come back in with a Night of Navy at the very, very top and make it even darker. But because I'm not doing that, because I'm using this over the top, there's no need because it's going to be covered. All right, I am going to add a little bit more purple. I'm a bit of a not a perfectionist, but I'm a bit particular about my blending. Hold it in one spot. I just want to go over that blue edge and make a little bit more purple. How's that looking, guys? What do you think? It's pretty, isn't it? Seriously, if you don't have blending brushes, get them. They're so good. And you can create such beautiful, beautiful backgrounds with them. They're just stunning. Yeah, I like it too, Judy. Thank you. Yep, they really are the best, Anita. You are absolutely right. All right. So let's see how this is looking when we put our piece over the top here. Pretty nice, actually. That looks really, really good. Now, there is a mark here that I've somehow managed to get. That is a great place for a star, don't you think? Like the star that we have here that we can also cut out. And I'm going to use glimmer paper or glimmer paper to cut that out. So I'm going to see how we've got like a little bit of a white edge here. I did do that on purpose, but it's a little bit too defined. I don't want it quite as white. So I'm going to pick up a bit more ink and I'm just going to come across and I'm going to put this back and move it down a tiny, tiny bit, but not the full amount. We've still got a little bit up from the bottom. And that will help to blend that in a little bit. Just soften that edge. All right. So I'm going to have this here. That's looking good. And I can move it up a little bit. I might move it up a tiny bit because the bottom's going to be hidden anyway. So I'm actually going to glue this down. I'm going to glue it into place. Hey, Ellen. Nice to see you. Oh, you just got Eden's Garden, Jenny. Isn't it lovely? It's such a nice set. I did a class, an online class with it this month, and it was really popular. And everyone who has seen it has gone, oh, that's beautiful. I need that. It's just lovely. The dyes are really nice. All right, let's have a look and see. So I just want a little bit of that white edge showing. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so now this is how this is going to go on here. This is going to go right there like that. Looks good. I like how this is coming together. So we have already cut out, I have my 3 wise men. All right, so I've got these 3 guys and I have my little Bethlehem. Now I'm going to pop Bethlehem kind of over here on this corner. I don't want the building to look like I want them to be vertical. And that's okay because this very edge here is actually going to be covered up by the edge of this. So I can get away with a little bit of a gap there. So let's get some glue on the back of these. If anyone missed me saying it at the start, I'm not going as long tonight, and I really am not. I know I say that sometimes, but I've got my dad and my stepmom here staying with us, and so I want to spend some time with them. So I'm going to go just a short one tonight. All right, so pushing that into place. Going to stay there. Now these guys are going to cover up that little house anyway. They're going to kind of be in front. I'll put this one. This one's wearing a turban. It's hard to see them, but you can see them because these are the three. See, this one's got a turban, and these two have actually got crowns. So you can kind of get the shape of them. So we have a crown, we have a turban, we have a bigger crown there at the side. I think I like the big crown guy in the front. But because I've got my frame going on, I don't want to go too close to the edge, but I still want it. Are they too big? They might be a little bit big. I might move them down a little bit. What do you think, guys? Are they too big? I think that's about right. So let's put this guy on first. Yep, family is important. Absolutely, it's the most important thing, or one of the most important things. My dad is 88 years old, and he remarried. My mum passed away a few years ago, and my dad remarried at 86, which is kind of cute. I know that a couple of people said to me, why did he get married when he's 88? Why would you get married at that age? Because my dad is a proper gentleman, and he believes in looking after his wife. So that's what he did. And there, this is actually, my stepmom has never been married before. This is her first marriage. And she was a missionary for 30 years over in Uganda. So that didn't leave a lot of time for getting married and having families. So my dad has taken her away from single life, I guess you'd say. All right. So here we go. We have our three wise men. I think they're looking a little bit crowded, a little bit cramped, but that's okay. I'm going to go with it anyway. And you know what? That mark at the top here, you can barely see it. Although, like I said, I could put a star there. But I love this shading here at the back. Isn't that pretty? Put on the front. Oh, I could do that. That's a good idea, Ellen. Let me pull this off and see if it's too late. I can always stick him back on again if I need to. Oh, look, I left a mark where he was. Never mind. That would have been a good idea. So what Ellen suggested was, why didn't I put one here on the outside? What a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Never mind. For now, he'll just have to stay. And the next one of these I make, I'm going to have them on the outside. All right. So I'm going to put this down. Get my Tombow out. I think this Tombow's getting a little bit low. All right. He needs the company. There you go. Yeah. Yep. It's true. No, he's I'm very happy that he's found someone that he's so happy with, because he really missed my mum when she passed away, and I would ring him up and he would just sob on the phone. It was awful. And, you know, then he found Anne, and he's not lonely anymore. And they get along really, really well. She looks after him. She was a nurse, so she's qualified as a nurse. So she's perfect for my dad, who has a few health issues. So they're really good together. And they're very nice to see them like that together. All right, so I think what we need now is a sentiment. What have we got here? We've got wise men still seek him, good tidings of great joy, glory to God in the highest. And I wonder, well, I think one of these two, good tidings of great joy or wise men still seek him, because it would make sense. I'd like to have it on a longer thin piece. So which one? Wise men still seek him or good tidings of great joy? Which one will we go? Ah, my family are watching me. Right. So, wise men, I'm just looking at everyone. Look, I really think that it's so important what you said there, Judy. Its companionship is so important, and it's just so lovely to see Dad happy. I'm really, really glad. We're going with wise men. Oh, Judy said good tidings. Who was first? Who picked first? Judy, you're the first one on my screen, so I'm going to go good tidings because that's what you said. All right, I'm deciding which punch to go with, and I think I will do, I'm going to do embossed. These are new stamps. I haven't used the sentiments before, so I think this one. This one says good tidings of great joy. Yep, this one here. So I'm going to pop this down. And here we go. Now, for anyone who hasn't seen how I do this, this is my favorite way to put down stamps. I'm sticking the whole thing to the block. Okay, then we're going to take the backs off. And then I'm going to flip it over and make sure the stamp is facing the right way. And I'm just going to pop it right on here. And now that stamp is set up with the sticker in the right place. And I've got some white embossing powder. We're going to use white embossing powder on this. And I'm going to stamp it in Versamark. So for anyone who hasn't used Versamark before, Versamark is a sticky ink that allows your powder to stick to it. So I'm just going to make sure it's inked up well. I'm going to stamp it down. You can't see it because it's clear, but when I pour my embossing powder on it, there we go. Now you can see. Now, one thing that has been a bit sad, we don't have embossing buddies anymore. We used to have those, and if you don't have an embossing buddy, if you do have one, it's always good to go over your piece so you don't have any static electricity and powder that sticks where it shouldn't. But you can see I've got a bit of extra powder here. So I keep a brush on hand and I just get rid of any excess powder. Give it a bit of a blow if you need to. Blow on it to get rid of any extra powder. Today, my dad went down to visit his brother who lives in Sydney. That's why they came down, because his brother's not been well. And they went down there and braved the Sydney traffic, which I think is a big thing to do. And they're home safely. Oh, I got a tiny, tiny little bit of... I missed a tiny bit, so I'm just going to add a little bit of powder. Who's a fan of embossing? Who loves to emboss? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my heat tool And we're going to give that a little bit of heat so that we can cook the powder. So let's do that. I didn't get all the powder off, but it's good enough to show you. It doesn't take very long to heat up. Here we go. You'll know when it's cooked because it will go hard, white and shiny. There we go. Right, now I have a few choices. I can cut a piece to go all the way across, which might look nice, or I can punch it out. This punch is the Everyday Label punch, which is a great size punch, but it might be a little big for this. I think it might be a little big for this piece. So I think I'll just cut a straight line. So I'll bring my trimmer in for that. Okay. So I didn't stamp it quite straight, so I'm going to have to cut it on a slight angle. Sometimes it's hard to get your trimmer, that's not quite the right place. It's hard to get your trimmer to, when you're using a small piece, to get it completely lined up. But the lines on the trimmer make it much easier. So let's see how wide this piece is. Yep, that should be good. So this piece is going to go straight across here. I've got my Good Tidings of Great Joy. I'm deciding I could use dimensionals to pop this up. I'm just wondering how Tombow will work on this glittery surface. I guess we'll find out. It might take a little while to dry, but once it's dry, it should be good. Let's just hold that in place for a second while it gets its stick. All right. I'm thinking maybe a little bit of ribbon. What do we think? Do we think a ribbon or no ribbon? I know, but white embossing on black always looks good, Marianne. It looks really good. Yes, good idea. Judy's made a good suggestion that corn flour in a baby sock or one of those little sockets, put some corn flour in it and it will act as a embossing buddy, so you can get rid of that static electricity before you emboss. We think ribbon. Yep, okay. So apparently my son Ben put up this video up on the TV so that the family could watch it. So they're all in the other room watching. Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Okay, so this is white. Of course, because this is this type of white ribbon, we can actually color this any color we like. So if we want it to stay white, we can make it white, but we could make it another color. Like, for example, I could make the ribbon Fresh Freesia, which would look quite nice with this. What do you think? Should we... Gems or stars in the sky? Good question. That is a really good question, Marion. I'm wondering. You live in America and you're a night owl. Nice to meet you, Susan. I am live in Australia and it is just after 8 o'clock here. So 8 p.m. that is. So you guys, you would be... I guess this morning, probably, for us. We're a little bit ahead of you. We're on the other side of the date line. So I'm deciding whether you think to colour the ribbon, Jody. All right, let's do that. I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors. I'm going to cut this one and then I'm going to colour another one, and then we can decide which one looks best. But I think you might be right. I'm thinking maybe a coloured ribbon would look good. And I'm going to try the Fresh Freesia, because even though there's no Fresh Freesia in the card, when you the colour formed by the purple and the pink almost is Fresh Freesia. So let's look at that. I've also got Highland Heather. So I've got Highland Heather, this one here, or I've got Fresh Freesia, which is this one here. And they don't look very different in the blends, to be honest, but the colours are quite different. So you can see better on the ink pads how different they are. See how different they are? They're quite different. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. That's a good point, Denise. That's one tradition that Americans have that I wish we had. I think it's a really nice tradition. Ooh, will I go dark Fresh Freesia or light Fresh Freesia? Let's go the dark. And really, really easy to colour them with the blends. I use my paintbrush end and I just colour my ribbon straight over. It goes all the way through, and it's very, very easy to colour. You can also use sponge daubers and regular ink as well. But the good thing about alcohol ink is it's permanent and it evaporates quickly. So I haven't got to wait for that to dry. That is pretty much ready to use almost straight away. So alcohol ink is good for that. So there's a bit of pinkiness to this ribbon, isn't there? Like the Fresh Freesia has a lot of pink in it. Definitely a pink purple. All right. So I was requested on Friday night to use this particular set. That was what they asked me to do. And I'm happy to, because it's a set I bought it, but I haven't used it nearly enough. I should have used it more this time round. And I still have a couple of cards that I'd like to make with it. Or the purple is good, guys. This was a good choice. Yeah, I agree. I need to grab my glue dots to glue dot that on, because glue dots are the best thing. There it is. Now, should we put a star up here? Or, you know what, this isn't really where I would want to put a star. So, Marion, I think you're right. Maybe bling would be better. And I have got some really nice bling. Ooh, would you like to do a new bling? A new bling that we haven't used yet, that isn't available yet, but you'd like to see it. These are the new iridescent gems. These are coming in the new January catalogue. Wouldn't they look nice on there? I'm going to pop one right there on that little boo-boo. And maybe one down here, and maybe a little tiny one above Bethlehem. That's pretty. Now, as far as would you believe I am almost completely out of glue dots? I have to put an emergency order in to get more glue dots because I am almost out. So this is going to go right there when I find my glue dots. There we go, just like that. And it'll go on a white card base, and I think that's really, really pretty. And I like the way that the rose gold glimmer paper matches up with the Blushing Bride ink. I think that works really very well. So there you go. There's a card that we made with the Great Tidings set. Don't forget, on the 1st, that's Wednesday this week, this set and the matching dies will be 50% off, okay? I did go through, I have found, you'll probably find the easiest way to go shopping is to go into the online store and look there, because everything that's on marked down will be shown as marked down. However, I've gone through my catalogue and highlighted everything that's going, and where I have written down if it's on sale. There is quite a bit on sale this year. Some years there's almost nothing. And it really depends on how much they've got left in the warehouse and what needs to be marked down so that they can move it on. But that is one of the sets that is going to be on special. There are some sets that are going to be, like almost everything in the gingerbread and peppermint suite is going, almost everything. A couple of things are marked down. The pretty pillow box dies are staying, so there are some items that are carrying over. and you'll still be able to get those. So definitely worth checking out the list when it goes live on Wednesday. And of course, last 2 days of our joining deal, please don't forget about that. If it's something you've been thinking about, reach out, and I'm happy to talk you through or answer any questions that you might have about that. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions before we call it a night? Anyone have anything else that they wanted to say before we wrap this up? All right, guys. So just the one card tonight. I think I feel that there's some company to be had in the other room, so I'm going to head in there. I hope everyone is well and that you have a fantastic week ahead. I'll see you back on Facebook on Friday night at 7:30, and back here, of course, again next Sunday night at 7:30. If there's, you know, there'll be other things going up during the week. I should be posting to my blog this week, and I've definitely got a newsletter coming out for all my customers. So if you are not on my newsletter list, you want to grab that and you head over to my blog and sign up there. Okay, fantastic, nice, and thank you very much for joining me. Have a great week. Bye.